Hi, I'm John Van Cleef, CEO of Community Resource Center, and I'd like to welcome you to our virtual tour of our Integrative Services Program. Integrative Services really is the entry point for all of our programs involving prevention and intervention with people who are experiencing needs. You'll learn that many people sometimes come to us for something like food insecurity, or they're worried about paying their bills, but it encompasses so much more. Especially during these days since COVID-19, the Integrative Services Department have been working with people who are at risk of or are experiencing homelessness. And the services they provide are especially important as we work to keep people in their homes and help people find permanent housing away from the streets. I'd like to introduce you to Rebecca Palmer, who's going to tell you more about the wraparound programs we provide through Integrative Services and how we help people who are hungry, homeless, and hurting on a path to safety, stability, and self-sufficiency.
Hello, I'm Rebecca Palmer. I serve here at CRC as Chief Program Officer, and just welcome you to CRC to learn a little bit more about us. And so in Integrative Services, one of our key programs, case management and the success of people really comes from that relationship with a case manager. So what does that look like? Someone comes to our door and we have an intake specialist that greets the person, welcomes the person. But after they come into our services and begin to work with a case manager, we're able to walk alongside them and see what steps that they want to take on their own paths. One of the elements of what we're doing is we've adopted what's well known as trauma-informed approach. What does trauma-informed approach mean? So to some extent, all of us are survivors of life experiences, some of which are really traumatic. Those we're serving, again, are disproportionately affected by trauma. So when people are coming to us, they're not really having the best part of their life right now. So we're in a place to welcome the person, walk alongside them at the pace that they need, and the trust and empathy that gets built so that people can actually begin to take hopeful and stronger steps towards safety, stability, and self-sufficiency. Another key program for us that serves the most people per day is our food and nutrition program. We want to recognize that people coming to us now, some as a result of COVID, it's the first time they've come to us. So we're seeing new people coming that really are experiencing for the first time in their lives food insecurity. They're coming and they don't have enough to put food on their table for their families, and or individuals who are experiencing homelessness, that their nutrition and health is really at a baseline. Another key program is our domestic violence programs. There's many levels and components to this, which you'll also hear more about. But predominantly, it's an emergency shelter and also transitional housing. Again, the relationship with a case manager, legal advocate, counselor. We have a 24-hour hotline that we are always screening and referring or receiving people that want to come in and are in desperate need of safety. You're going to hear now from our Integrative Services Program Manager, and her name is Miranda Chavez. She's enjoyable, she's entertaining, and she's right on the front lines of working with people that are in crisis every day. Thank you for your interest in CRC, and we look forward to meeting you and inviting you to join the work with us. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Miranda Chavez. I am the Integrative Services Program Manager at Community Resource Center. Community Resource Center's Integrative Services Department focuses on providing resources and support to individuals and families who are in crisis. Our goal is to focus on supporting our participants and their families in achieving self-sufficiency. And the best way to describe that is with this illustration. So we really focus initially on safety. We want to make sure that folks are in a safe place. For many of the participants that come to us, they're looking at an emergency situation. So we want to address that, make sure that they're safe, and make sure that they have a lot of what they need for their basic day-to-day needs. Safety is huge, so we want to make sure that if they're in a domestic violence situation, that we're providing domestic violence case management, resources, shelter, that we're giving them all the resources that we have to offer. Folks always also come here and they are experiencing food insecurity. So we want to make sure that we're providing emergency food. We have a number of different programs that allow us to provide emergency food for a family that could last for a week or more. We are also providing shelter. We provide referrals to, for example, the Interfaith Shelter Network, which is a rotational shelter that happens throughout the county. We're also providing motel vouchers and just really focusing on what else the family needs to feel safe. Might be a referral to a mental health professional. Anything that they need that can help them to stabilize and feel safe, that's what we're going to provide in the very beginning, and then work towards support. The next step we look at is stability. All of the clients that work with Integrative Services case managers work together with their case manager to develop a self-sufficiency case plan. On that case plan can be whatever it is that they feel is going to best support them to self-sufficiency. That could be rental assistance to prevent them from losing their housing. That could be job and employment support, transportation to their new job, or even a voucher for clothing for their new job from our resale stores. That can also be homelessness intervention, deposit, rental assistance for folks who are experiencing homelessness. We can also help with CalFresh and Medi-Cal applications, transitional housing, and really any other goals that the participant is wanting to work on that will help achieve self-sufficiency. We want to help them get stable, and then that way they're not having to come back to us for other services. We work with a lot of landlords in the area and do some landlord engagement so that we can encourage landlords to continue to rent to participants that we're serving. We want to create those relationships so that it's easier to transition folks who are experiencing homelessness back into housing. And those relationships are really important. Another way that Community Resource Center supports its participants year-round is through our Holiday Baskets program. Lots of people don't realize that this is part of Community Resource Center's year-round support for our participants. We get to the end of the year and a lot of families are stretched really thin, and a lot of parents have to make the decision between, putting gas in their car or buying Christmas gifts or having a holiday meal. So there's a lot of decisions that are made there, and we want to make that easier for the families that we support. So we offer this amazing holiday program that allows parents to not have to make those difficult decisions during the holiday season. The final step, and really an ongoing step in the process to self-sufficiency, is case management services. When the case manager and the participant are developing the case plan together, we look at where you've been, where you are, and where you want to go. And that's going to be different for every participant that comes into Community Resource Center's Integrative Services Department. And we really want to meet them where they're at and work towards whatever self-sufficiency looks like for them. We've had some participants who have really struggled in, applying for Social Security benefits. So that's going to be what our focus is. We will look at what resources they need, how do we get them there. There may be other participants who say, you know what, I really just need help getting to my job. I really just need shoes for this new job. Can you help me? So it's really based on what the participant needs. It can also mean one-on-one financial counseling, budget assistance. It can mean ongoing transportation assistance until they're able to get on their feet. It can also mean housing stabilization services. So maybe you're a little bit nervous about talking to your landlord about your rent or some other issue that you're having with your housing. And so we're able to provide some of that landlord engagement as well. We also provide one-on-one employment services and job search assistance. We don't prescribe for them what their case plan looks like. This is about them and their journey. And so we want to make sure that we're supporting them on their individual path to self-sufficiency.
Ted once owned a 2-story home with his family and had a full-time job as a sales manager. Sadly, in 2017, Ted lost his job and had trouble getting back on his feet. He lost his home and entered into a rehab program. Ted moved into his van and participated in a 12-step program. During this time, he never missed a child support payment and worked hard to put his life back together and stay sober. Ted first came to CRC because he needed food. It was expensive to buy 3 meals a day. He received food and also learned about the rental assistance program. At this time, he wasn't sure if he would be able to afford to have a home again. Ted met with me, see if he could qualify, and reached out to his program to see if anyone had a room available. The next day, a woman called with a room available. Ted sent the information over to me, and I helped him with the deposit and rental assistance. Within a week and a half, Ted was in a home again. The first night at his new apartment, Ted had his 12-year-old son over for dinner. They rented a movie, and he showed him how to barbecue chicken. Ted says, "When I had that 2-story house, I didn't appreciate any of it. But when I moved into this house after living in a van, I remember taking a shower at home for the first time in over a year, and I had this new sense of gratitude. I can't believe how lucky I am. I have this new feeling of happiness. I got my family back. CRC saved my life."
One of our favorite days here in the Integrative Services Department is move-in day. The work doesn't stop after the lease is signed and the check is cut. We continue to work with the other departments at CRC. It's a real team effort. We get with our resale stores and figure out how to get them furniture and towels and maybe dishes and pans. And so we move a grandmother in and she can bake cookies with her grandkids for the first time in her own kitchen. The other thing that we like to do is we send cards to our participants, and I have one here. It says, "Welcome home," and it says, "Congratulations on your new place." And we have all the staff down here sign them, and we send them in the mail. And our participants really enjoy getting that first piece of mail at their new address. And it's just a really happy day when we're able to help a family transition from homelessness back into housing.
Clementine was homeless when she found out that her teen daughter was experiencing severe health issues. She was developing scoliosis due to sleeping on her dad's couch for many years. Clementine decided she had to do whatever she could to get her daughter back and find a healthy place for her to sleep. Clementine came to CRC for help and worked hard to obtain full-time employment and find housing. After she and her daughter moved into their new home, she said, "I'm no longer homeless in an RV. My daughter has her own room and her own bed. It's the best feeling in the world." Before the pandemic, Clementine worked full-time at a grocery store and part-time at a pet food store to make ends meet. Due to COVID-19, Clementine's hours were cut at her second job. During this difficult time, CRC is providing support with rental assistance and will be here to support her to help make sure she is able to keep her home.
Our support doesn't stop when the client has achieved the goals on their case plan. We make sure that we're following up with our participants, checking in with them as frequently as possible to make sure that all the hard work that they've done is continuously supported. For me, one of the things that I love most about working at Community Resource Center is all of the resources that we're able to provide. We really meet our participants where they're at, and we have such a wide breadth of services that we're able to provide. Everything from help with CalFresh and Medi-Cal applications to food security, counseling, domestic violence, housing assistance, and everything in between. We really are able to provide those wraparound services, and we are happy to help our community. So if you or anyone you know is in need of services, we're here to help.